Chance to seal it. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly. Rotherham United's pathway back to the Championship is opening up.
Good evening, hello, welcome to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. Thank you all for joining us. The unbeaten run ends, continues in the league. But the Carabao Cup has ended already before it really started. A 1-0 loss to Morecambe on Tuesday night. We'll get on to that. We've got the Birmingham to preview. A quick chat about ticket prices because that's the way it's got to be done, I think. And we all know who the referee is on Saturday, so I've got probably a bumper ref watch later. So Mick is looking forward to that. Hello, Michael. Good evening. Hello. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. Thanks. How are you?
I'm very, very good. Thank you.
I'm good.
Danny is with us as well. Thank you for joining us. Danny, how's you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. In fact, I'm better than all right. I'm absolutely smashing.
Wonderful news. We've got the Blues focus, I think, joining us later on in the show, about half an hour's time, to give us a lowdown on Birmingham. We've got the Carabao Cup draw, Carabao Cup to talk about, as well as the draw, I suppose, that we weren't taking part of. Let's start with the Carabao Cup, Danny. We lost 1-0. Let's talk about performance. We'll talk about the fan reaction because that is definitely worth a mention. Let's talk about the performance, how it went, and maybe there's too many changes.
Yeah, yeah, potentially. I think there was a few good individual performances. It just wasn't good cohesively. I think Norton Cuffy looked very good individually, but you could tell he'd only had one training session with us. Yeah. And I think the same with the rest of the squad. I mean, we only had two in that started against QPR, which is Rathbone and Peltier, I think it was. And other than that, it was all change to the starting 11. But I mean, on paper, it still looks a very good backup 11, if you like. There are a lot of strong individuals in there. It just didn't work on the night, unfortunately. I know I sound like a manager talking like that, but it didn't. It just didn't work on the night. You know, we just couldn't get the right shots away. We couldn't get the right pass. I just hope the lads don't take it as a confidence knock, that loss, and they kick on going, right, that's out of the way. We can concentrate on the league until the international break and kick on with it. That's the mindset I'd be taking from it anyway. Yeah,
I don't disagree with that. We'll see what we've got in the comments. We've got S64 Miller, Gav Grundy, Harley Kelwick, Paul Brock, Jerry-Ann Simpson, Kim Haywood, John Morell, the Birmingham fans joining us. Thank you for joining us, John. This is the episode you've been waiting for, John, isn't it?
Spicy.
Russ Bailey's with us and Sean Green are all in the comments so far. Thank you all for joining us. Mick, I mean, it was essentially attack versus defence for 85-ish minutes. Morecambe didn't create too much, and that's not a digger. That was their game plan. It worked to absolute T, as it does against teams like us, to be fair. But frustrating, we never really created any clear-cut chances, did we? I don't really understand why.
No, we didn't. The midfield didn't work, did it, really?
No.
To be fair, I mean, Rathbone did what Rathbone does, but there was no creativity there at all until Dan Barlaser came on later on, but it was too late by that stage. It just felt like the players were behaving like I felt. Just whatever. You know what I mean? Like that, you know, but not just us. It were almost like both teams were like, all right, we're going to play. It was a disappointing performance, and I've had 2 days to sort of digest it. I'm still surprisingly a little bit disappointed, not by the result, but by the performance. But we've set the first team, if you like, because that clearly 9 changes or 10 changes? I don't know, 9. I think.
Changes, yeah.
That's clearly obviously not the first team, and the first team has set the bar really high in terms of every part of the play. So that might be why I'm disappointed, but I'm not disappointed to go out the competition, not at all, not one bit.
Oh, that'll upset people. Oof.
I don't care. It's only my opinion, isn't it? You know, I mean, I'm not saying we should go out. I'm just saying I'm not bothered.
I do have a question for everybody who's in the live chat with us. Have you actually had a Carabao energy drink? Because I've never had one.
I had one
in a shop.
I had one with a green apple, and it was terrible. It was so bad. It almost tasted like beer, but a bit appley. It was really weird and horrible.
Once you've gone by board, then now, isn't it?
Yeah, unless you start sponsoring the show for one reason or another, then they are the number one energy drink. You know, you get it.
Yeah.
It'd be so much better if it was the Monster EFL Cup, wouldn't it? That'd be so much better.
Yeah, that's much different. There's comments are not positive in Carabao, to be honest with you.
I mean, somebody must be buying them, or else they wouldn't sponsor the competition.
Well, that's true. But I do like the cup because it brings out names. John Morell says the Carling Cup, that was drinkable mostly. There used to be the Worthington Cup, Coca-Cola Cup, obviously the milk cup back in the day.
Yeah, the milk cup.
Yeah.
The one chance Accrington Stanley had to win it.
Yeah.
That's a proper putting two together, that joke.
Yeah. The other one we wanted to drink is Capital One sponsor it for a while as well. That were
They didn't taste very nice.
No, probably not. No. Oh dear, this is standard for us, I suppose. Let's talk about some individual performances, some poor ones. Let's start with some positives, though, Danny. We mentioned the new signing, Norton Cuffy. I thought Jamie Carr had a very good game. I thought he grew into the game. I don't think he started off like lightning, but I think he grew into the game, and by the end of it, he looked like he'd been there more than that game. I think he looked okay on the ball. He can't cross for his life yet. But defensively, him and Peltier was so strong. I thought, not surprised the goal came down the right, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like I say, McCart definitely grew into the game. Started off looking a little bit lost, but I think that's his first start since the Port Vale game. I think did he even start the Port Vale game?
First minutes since the Port Vale game.
Yeah, first minutes since the Port Vale game. And yeah, like I said, he did grow into it. One thing I did notice that he was always looking for the overlap on the left-hand side. He was always overlapping with Ferguson, which is actually something we've not seen before. That's more of a Sheffield United tactic, that. So it'd be interesting if we can develop that further. Like you say, can't really cross yet, but he does have a long ball, quote unquote, in him, where he looks for the pass, plays the long ball, which isn't hoofball before anyone says so, and finds the pass, which is something that we talked about when we first signed him. That is the pass that he looks out for. And yeah, I think he's done very well, and he's definitely given Warne a bit of a headache for Saturday, because even then we looked defensively solid, and the Morecambe's goal came from a mistake from Lindsay, unfortunately, who looked absolutely gutted afterwards. Like, if you saw him going off and sitting down on the bench, he were gutted about that, which is a shame because he's been solid so far, but stuff happens, innit?
Yeah, James Finney said Peltier was brilliant. Yeah, I thought Peltier was brilliant, Mick. We talked about this. We're going to be saying the same thing about him all season. He's just a solid head. He's just solid as they come in.
Yeah, he is. Well, I think we talked about it on way back after match. We've ended up this season with 3 Richard Woods.
Yeah,
ultimately, we've obviously got the man himself, but Grant Hall fits so well into that position and that category when he's playing in the position that suits him, which is in the centre for me anyway. But Lee Peltier again, just so solid, so experienced. He's got to a position where he's going to be one of the first names on team sheet for me. I thought he was man of the match the other night for both sides. Out of the 22, I thought it was definitely man of the match. So that is a hell of a signing for us, and I'd certainly be putting him in front of Grant Hall, particularly on that right side of the 3 if Woody's playing. No question, for me anyway. He seems to fit that position far better than Hall does, doesn't he?
Yeah,
or as a central defender, either centre of a 3 or one side of a 2.
Yeah, know what I mean. Well, a couple of negative. I'm going to mention Tommy's, but not much because he's not fit. He was very clearly not fit. He didn't have a very. He didn't. To be honest, I don't think he had a bad game, to be honest. But he was clearly not fit, and that's all we can really talk about him. He's just not fit at all. The one that we can start to talk about now and discuss, Danny, is Scott High. He's made 4 or 5 appearances now, 3 or 4 appearances, including both cup games. And I'm really struggling. We all want to like all our loan players, and I'm sure he will come good. But I don't know at the minute what Scott High does. I know what Jimmy Lindsay does. I know what Rathbone does. I know what Barlas or Wiles. I know what they do as a central midfielder. They've got different roles, but I know what they do. I don't know what Scott High does yet. That sounds harsh. He's not done anything yet, has he?
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I think with the midfielders we already had, they've all got like their own little boxes that we can put them in. You're like, Barlas is the distribution man. Rathbone runs forever and gets stuck in with challenges. Lindsay's sort of the same, but is a little bit more clever about it. You know, he slits slightly further back and does it. Wiles is more of your attacking midfielder. And then the Dolphins in the box are more of the defensively minded midfielder. But we don't quite know which box to put Scott High in. And he is obviously a very good player and he does show flashes of his quality. But I just don't think he's worked out his role yet. And that might be down to our midfield have been together, 3-4 seasons now. So they know their roles perfectly, really. They know exactly the job they need to do and what their role is. But Scott High's sort of like the new boy in the midfield and he hasn't really sussed where he fits in yet. Yeah. I think he's more of a Wilesy sort of midfielder, you know, gets on the ball, he's a bit tricky, looks for a pass out wide, but he's confident enough to try and beat a man. I think he's more of a Wilesy sort of player. But he's also trying to do what Lindsay does at the same time. And I think he just needs to pick a lane, which isn't a criticism, he just needs to stick to one job and not try to do everything, you know.
Yeah.
He's a young lad, isn't he? You know what I mean? And you've got to bear in mind you're playing on a school night as well, so you're not used to staying up that late, let alone playing football that late. So he'll probably running about waiting for his mum to shout him in.
I hope he did well in his GCSEs, bless him.
I know, but seriously, I 100% agree with what Danny said there. Definitely needs to find his place.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. The goal, Johnny Davis says Vickers was 100% to blame for the goal. Jeremy Simpson says Vickers seems to have lost his confidence since the hand injury. She feels like last season the goal wouldn't have gone in. It was really strange, Mick, because the shot didn't look, it wasn't venomous, it wasn't vicious. And then from the we were sat in the main stand, and when I saw it hit Vickers, I thought, it's just gone for a corner, it's just going to tip it wide. And it somehow went through him. That was very, very, very unlike Vickers, that, weren't it?
It was, yeah. It was. But he made a mistake, didn't he? You know,
you could argue it's a Tweet Cup now.
Say again?
You could argue the Port Vale one were a mistake on his part as well.
Yeah, possibly. You know, it's short of match time. So, you know, all players make mistakes. Goalies make mistakes and we concede a goal. It's that, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think he could have done a lot better. He wouldn't have needed to do a lot better if Lindsay hadn't given the ball away in first place, which Jamie Lindsay knows as well. So, you know, it's one of them things. It's going to happen again this season. I'm sure it'll happen to Victor at some stage. It is what it is, isn't it? You know, he should have saved it, no question, and I'm sure he knows that.
Yeah. Yeah, Brooke Norton-Cuffy made his debut. Like I said, Danny says, having only trained a day before. He looked positive, Danny. I have a problem, and Mick knows what the problem is. It's his squad number. I'm not happy about a right wing back having a number 10, and I know it doesn't matter, but I don't like it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, his number at Arsenal is. In their youth system is number 2, so
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. I think it's just because it's next one that's available. I've still got an issue that Scott High's number 7.
Yeah,
you know, like he should be. I don't know, number 13 potentially. At least it makes a little bit more sense in midfield when we've got 4, 8, 16, and 18. You know, I mean, all right, Connor Washington's claim number 14 because that's his number. Yeah, fair enough. But like the next one down for a midfielder should be number 13. You know, and for the wing back, it should be, I don't know, 23. Let's say 23. 23 and it made more sense, wouldn't it? But, you know, he's got number 10. He's already a lot more proactive than Ladapo ever was with that number.
That's right. That's a good point.
And yeah, I mean, he does get forward quite a lot. He's definitely more attacking orientated than he is defensively, even though he said he doesn't mind getting stuck in defensively, which we saw on the odd occasion against Morecambe. But he's definitely more of your forward player, which sort of justifies number 10 a little bit more because it's a forward number.
Yeah.
But I see why people are a little bit upset about it, because when you say he's a right wing back, what number is he? Number 10? It's a bit of a question mark moment, isn't it? But it's just next available number, isn't it?
I suppose. I like numbers in order. The only good thing that came out of Alan Stubbs' reign as manager is on first day of season, numbers 1 to 11 started. That was the only positive from his reign. But yeah, Gerald Anderson agrees with me. Thank you. But she thinks he showed flashes of brilliance, but looked nervous. Yeah, not match fit. I think it's part of it as well. S64 Miller says, her and her dad think that Scott High should be number 5. Yeah, agreed.
Why? He's not a central defender.
Scott High 5.
Oh, right. Way over here, that.
I got it.
That's gone over his head and straight out the window. Oh dear.
I fell straight into it. I walked straight into that one, didn't I? Eyes wide shut.
Let's talk about the exit in general. Russ Bailey talks about the cup competition itself. He says his first season watching the Millers 83-84 when Millers got to the quarter-final of the League Cup, going out to Walsall. Back in them days, it was normal first 11 as opposed to ring change as it is now. They just had 1 or 2 subs. It says it's showing his age. It's sort of upset a lot of people about the exit. I mean, have you seen who we would have drawn had we been in the draw?
Yes. We don't know, do we?
Well, we do. So I've written it down. So had we been in the draw, we would have been number 22. Because Morecambe wouldn't have been there. Morecambe wouldn't have been number 20. So the 2 teams below would have moved up one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Nottingham Forest, whose number we would have taken, drew Tottenham at home. Right. So we would have drawn Tottenham at home had we gone through.
Guys, I think if we'd have got Tottenham at home, one of 2 things would have happened. Either we would have played this sort of reserve 11, if you like, played against Tottenham, and if Tottenham would have played their youngsters, if we'd have got beat by them, that might be more of a disheartener than the loss to Morecambe. Or we both play a first 2 strong 11s, which Antonio Conte might have done. And if we'd have got trounced, that would have been even worse. You know, so it's blessing in disguise potentially, but I would have preferred Spurs away, in all honesty.
Midweek,
but I just want to see their new stadium, but that's me.
We'll save that FA Cup third round with Spurs.
Yeah, we'll get Spurs away, third round at FA Cup.
Yeah.
It's a great stadium. It's a great stadium. It's fantastic to watch football of any kind, but don't buy a coffee. That's all I'm saying to you.
Okay, is that because it's terrible or because it's like £1,000?
Yeah, it's lovely. You just get half a cup for £4. So it's, other than that,
I assume you're not interested in what I've just said, Nick, about the draw.
No,
excellent.
Because we didn't get through, so we didn't get them, did we?
No, it's just what would have happened.
Let it go. Come on, Matt. Let it go.
When I first saw the draw, I thought, it's fine. We'd have got MK away, which Morecambe did. So I thought it's fine. And then you look at it, damn it. I've been saying we need a home game against a good Premier League team since we moved into New York, and we're due one. We are due one, to be fair. Could be worse. Could have got Southampton away. So
Oh, on a Tuesday night as well. Ooh.
Yeah, let's talk about the reaction on Twitter, Danny. It's not worth too much of a mention, but let's talk about it anyway because we've got time tonight, to be honest with you. A lot of people were very unhappy at losing the game, which I understand being upset about losing the game. I understand not being happy because you want to win every single game. But if we're going to lose a game, if you said to me, right, you can pick one game this season where you're okay with losing, it'd be in the League Cup. I prefer to win FA Cup against the League Cup. I prefer to win League against the League Cup. League Cup is one of the games where you say, you're going to lose that game. That's fine. Let's just move on. I assume you're similarly.
Yeah, I'm not too fussed. I did have a little bit of a thought at the back of my mind of it. It would be Morecambe that would beat us because we beat them twice last season, and so it's just our luck they beat us now. So yeah, I mean, I was a little bit disheartened at the final whistle, because you've lost and all that. But as soon as I got up onto the bridge where there's that new strange flood defence, it looks like it's imitating Portsmouth sail in their harbour, but that's a different story. As soon as I got up to there, I was all right. It's like, hey, Saturday, let's go Saturday again. Yeah, I don't really understand the complete outcry about it. I mean, were people believing we'd get all the way to the final? Maybe. But I'm just not fussed. We all knew we weren't going to go far in this competition. Yeah, it'd been nice to have had a little bit of a cup run. But I'm just not fussed. Hopefully we get someone big in the third round of the cup and cause an upset, which would probably live longer in the memory than 2 rounds of this competition this season.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that the capital, what's it called, Carabao Cup, financially is not worth that much money. The FA Cup prize money is decent. The television money, the FA Cup, brilliant. The Carabao Cup, the TV money is non-existent, and the prize money is pittance.
Don't you get prize money until the quarter final, do you?
I think
you only get money if you win.
Tens of thousands. It's like it's quite a small amount, and the television money I think is tens of thousands as well. I don't think it's very much at all compared to the FA Cup. If you're on to FA Cup, you're guaranteed in first round. You're guaranteed like 100 grand plus, and obviously it goes higher up as you get to a competition. So it's, from a financial point of view, it's not really worth going full out really, but. Yeah,
actually, that makes me a bit happy that Morecambe have beat us. It's like, yeah, you won me a bit of money. Go on, off you go. That's all right.
MK dons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sean Green says we'll soon win Saturday. Yeah, Mick, I assume you're going to say the same.
Yeah. I move on. It's over. It's done with. Move on. It's good, like you said, it's good some of the people on social media who've been conspicuous by their absence for the last 3 weeks who make them moan about it. So,
yeah. If you're upset that we've lost a game, just remember we're Rotherham United. We're going to lose games of football quite a lot. And this is a stat for Ben. We haven't won at home in this competition for 4 years now. It's just not a competition we do very well in.
If you're upset we've lost a game, supporting Rotherham United is probably not for you. I'll be honest. Because supporting football, any football club, it's probably not for you because all of them lose games. And sometimes it's not anybody specific's fault. You know what I mean? Anyway, whatever.
You mentioned losing game. I'm going to hit you with the most random stat of the day, by the way, because like we said, time to fill. Because of our incredible end to the season last season, where we won a few more games than we lost, Rotherham have now tipped into the positives of games won to games lost over our history.
There you go. Just.
We have lost 1,699 games total. Drawn 1,092, and we've won 1,701. So when I say we're just on the other scale, it is just. It's like a 2-game difference. So you never know.
By the end of the season.
Yeah, it's a bit.
Yeah.
So by the end of the season, all 100% of supporters will have been happy 50% of the time.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, throughout the history of the club. Yeah.
Happy days.
And we've scored 17 more goals than we've conceded total as well.
There you go.
This is why we'll keep going up and down all the time, isn't it? Because we win loads, draw loads. Yeah.
Our average score is 1.4 to 1.4. That's hilarious.
Brilliant.
So essentially, what you're saying then, Danny, is that we just bang average.
Yeah, we are legit on the straight and narrow, and that is it.
Brilliant. Paul Box is the guy behind him, whinged all game, complained all the Morecambe game. Thank God he doesn't sit me all season. We move on. It's a game. Yeah. Summed up very, very nicely. Chris Tether points out, and again, this first time I sat in the West Stand, the bright lights, new lights. Yeah, first night game I think we've had as Rotherham United under the new lights. And the lights across the West Stand are very, very bright. Very, very bright. Do not look directly at them because you will not be able to see for a few minutes. But the Premier League standard apparently, so there you go. Interesting stats are it was a 100th career appearance for Rotherham United for Wes Harding and Chiwog Benny. We should have, to be honest with you, we should have talked about that pre-match, shouldn't we? That's a stat we should have kept a track on. We didn't, but it's they've both been really good for us so far, and one maybe nearing the end of their time with us, the other may not. They both may not. We just don't know, do we? We just don't know, Mick. Unsurprisingly, nobody got the prediction correct because we all predicted wins. So that's not very good from us, is it really?
It matters as much as game matters, that really, doesn't it? Because they were just kind of free hits, those predictions for us. Really.
All right. So you're not going to start kicking and screaming because you got one wrong because you lost.
No, I'm not even counting it, mate.
You should want to win all these, though. You should be, when you don't get one right, you should be kicking. You should be really frustrated with yourself. You need to do better.
What I might do is I might tweet myself tonight and tell myself I should sack myself.
Yeah, do it. I think you should.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to do it.
Anything else from the Morecambe game before we move on? I think we've covered most of the interesting performances. Good. Hats off to Morecambe for the time wasting. I thought they were very good at that. Again, not a dig. That was their game plan. It worked. Wickham would have been. Gareth Ainsworth would have been proud of some of their time wasted.
I think Morecambe would have settled for penalties at the end of that because I think that's how they beat Stoke in the first round on penalties, and you could tell just as the second half kicked off, they were content with keeping it at 0-0. But yeah, fair play to them. They've drawn MK Dons, who were in the same league as them. So yeah, well done.
You beat two championship teams, get rewarded with a League One team where you're probably not going to beat.
Yeah, like I said, I bet they'll lose.
Yeah,
they've done the hard bit, and now it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Moving ahead to Birmingham, we meet them on Saturday. They come to New York Stadium again. Great record against Birmingham. One win in our last 9 games against them at home. The last home victory came in 1989, which was a 5-1 victory back in 1989.
1989.
We have beat them once at St Andrews, I think 2016, which was Stephen's final game there in charge. That was a 2-1 victory for us, which saw off Steve Evans. They went through a spell, didn't they, of getting our managers sacked. But Steve Evans, go on. Who were next? Alan Stubbs. Alan Stubbs got sacked after them as well. I think maybe did Kenny Jackett leave after a Birmingham game or after a Leeds game? Can't remember.
They
went to his face getting our managers sacked, which is, is what it is. The team that we're going to speak from the Blues Focus in a minute, but Lukas Jukovic has been banned for 2 games. So Lukas Jukovic will not be playing on Saturday. He's been banned for 2 games for diving, which is wonderful to see. Have you not seen it, Danny?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's horrendous. From the Wigan game at the weekend, the Wigan player got sent off because he was last man, and he's just done himself to the ground. It's pathetic. Of those that we've seen the red card, I didn't know in England we did retrospective bans for dives. I know they did in Scotland.
So why? Because weekend after weekend after weekend after weekend, games are won and lost by players cheating. That game was lost by the team who had the player sent off, and yet he still gets a ban. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And it goes back again to what we've talked about, consistency. If you're going to do it, do it. I think it's a brilliant idea. Genuinely, it's a fantastic idea. And supporters up and down the country have been calling for it for years. Retrospective bans for cheating, definitely. No problem. But do it all the time to everybody. And I don't get it. I'm not sticking up for
this one was particularly black and white. There was no questions about
mate, they're all black and white. You see it game after game after game. You know, you watched the Liverpool game the other night when they got beat, which were a bit of a tragedy. But anyway, that's another story. And that Man United player, Hernandez. I mean, he constantly throws himself on floor week after week after week, winning free kicks, getting bookings for opposition teams, and nothing is ever done about it. Why? Why have they picked this instant? And I'm not sticking up for the bloke. He deserves a ban because he cheated. However, do it for everybody, and it'll stop it. It'll stamp it out of the game.
You know the Donny player who got sent off on the first game of the season. Did he get a ban for that?
He would have got a 1-game ban.
Right. I reckon all the refereeing association is completely shuddered now that Howard Webb's back. And they've all gone, oh, we need to start applying the rules properly now. Oh dear.
Hopefully. Right. Time for the scouting report. We'll be speaking to Tommy in a second after our wonderful intro. We'll see you in a few seconds. Hello, Tommy from Blues Focus. How are you doing?
Hi, mate. How are you good? I'm all right. How are you?
Not bad. Thank you very much. So let's talk Birmingham, what we can expect. How was your start to the season going? We were, relegation favourite friends at the start of the season. How's the first few games gone?
Well, up and down, but it's been good considering the teams that we've played against. Obviously, playoff teams last season in Huddersfield, we got a win against them. We drew with Luton, and we obviously drew with Watford, who come down from the Premier League. So that's some good games, but the one against Wigan was like a bit of a down-to-earth sort of realisation type of game, really, of suddenly realising that we're not going to be that great, which is a bit disappointing because we could have capitalised on an extra man. But yeah, that was typical us, really, to go and lose the game 1-0.
What was the pre-season idea from fans that let's hope we stay up? Because we all know the background noises and nonsense that's been going off. A bit of a show behind the scenes. Is it just hopefully stay up and hope somebody buys the club soon?
Yeah, I think it's something along those lines. The confidence in the owners with getting in Richardson and Lopez has started to die down a bit. So I'm not too sure we can expect to be taken over just yet. But yeah, I think a realistic target for this season is stay up and hope that a owner who wants to come in and put some money into the team and really invest into the team and try to get us back to being at least competitive in the Championship, never mind just getting us back into the Premier League. I think that's just one little step each time, really.
Yeah, at least Bassini never took over. That's always a positive, isn't it?
That's a massive positive, yeah.
You dodged that bullet, didn't you?
Your manager, John Eustace, came in the summer. I was surprised to see sort of a non-name, really. We don't know him from being a manager elsewhere. What's your impression of him to start with, the way he talks and everything else? Is it from his point of view, has that been a positive start as well?
Yeah, well, of course. I think just to get a win, first of all, has been impressive under him. But I didn't know much about him before he joined us. I knew that he was assistant at QPR last season, but I didn't know entirely too much about him. But he's a realist. He talks well. He's very clear on what he says. He's calm. He doesn't rush on things. And he's willing to stand up for what he believes in. And he sort of just sticks with the team sometimes as well. I think on the first day, Nathan Jones was having arguments with him not face on face sort of conversation, but it was like moaning about us. I don't know, time waste. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was asked about it by our interviewer, and he said, "What do you think about it?" And he said, "Well, I don't really care, to be quite honest." So I'm glad that he's just stood up for that and told him that, mate, I'm not interested. I'm just trying to manage my football team, really.
Yeah.
Something like Nathan Jones to moan about, isn't it? Really. I've never seen that before.
It must have been the first time.
Talk to some of your players. We mentioned Jukovic is suspended, so thankfully we don't have to worry about him because I think he always scores against us. You talk us through your squad. All your key players, who you worried about from your point of view. What can we expect from you guys?
Well, I think the standout player that we have is definitely Janino Bacuna who plays in midfield. He's been fantastic for us, and I dread to think where we are without him, because I can easily see him being sold in January or something like that, because we got him for cheap from Rangers, and he's been fantastic ever since he started coming in, and he's been really free. We've been allowed to play free, just keeping the ball to himself and creating chances and being really creative on the ball. So he's a big threat, which is kind of the situation we're in. The only few players that you could argue are playing okay are John Ruddy and Austin Trusty. Austin Trusty, centre-back for us. But we've got very little attacking threat, which kind of highlighted against Wigan, which, I mean, like, even with a man up, we still couldn't capitalise on it, and we were lacking ideas. We couldn't. Every time we got near the box, it looked like we were just stuck for ideas, going for the same cross into the ball, which cross into the box, which just wasn't working every single time. So that's the kind of things that we need to improve on. We need those better strikers. We need more chances for them, because we do have good strikers in Deeney and Hogan, but sometimes they're lacking, but sometimes they're lacking themselves as well. So it's a bit of a conundrum, but definitely Bacuna is saving us at the moment. So I don't know where we'd be, probably bottom without him, because all those chances he's created this season, the majority we've just missed as well. Yeah.
Have you got a style? Has Juice had time to implement a style, or is it just doing the best with what he's got and changing it as and when?
Yeah, I think so. I think he likes the idea of being a bit of a possession-based team. But with the players that he's got, the players that we've had have tried that before under different managers, and it's not worked. So I think at the moment he's trying to implement a bit of a sit-back and counter-attacking team, which is smart for the team that we've got. And we've got some very good attacking players when it comes to going forwards, but it's just we can't finish those chances. We've got Deeney, we've got Hogan, we've got Bacuna. They can go forward, but when it comes to the actual finishing, putting the ball in the back of the net, we really struggle. But I think if we had better players, he'd definitely play possession-based. Definitely more possession-based, yeah.
And how big is this game? We're told by the press that, like every other podcast you can see, that this game's massive because these two teams will be down there. Is that how you see it, or your fans see it, or is it just too early to say how big a game it is?
I think for us, it's well for me personally, it definitely is, because we need wins this season, because anything can happen at any point in the season. We could get a massive points deduction out of nowhere, and we might go on minus points all of a sudden. We might have to just do a Derby County and scrap like hell to get out of it. But I think, we're always wanting to go into a game and win, and always try and win. But it just feels like we need to start winning these games against teams that aren't Watford and sort of those teams that are up there with them. Because when we've got points against Watford and beat Huddersfield, it felt like those results were fantastic. It was exactly what we needed. So against the teams that are in the similar situations with us, I think it is definitely we need to go and win those games, because we're running out of teams to beat then, really, because we're definitely not going to beat Watford away. We're not going to beat Norwich at home. Those are the results that are going to be really difficult to try and get. So we've got to try and pull something off here on Saturday. It's going to be tough. I'm not denying it. It's definitely going to be tough.
Yeah, hopefully. Before I let you go, give us a score prediction. What's your prediction for the score Saturday?
See, I went 2-0 against Wigan because I was feeling quite confident. But knowing how poor we are when we can't play the football that we want to play, I'd be happy. I'd just be happy to try and pinch something towards the end. I wouldn't be too disheartened with a point, mainly because sort of the game we've come off the battle. But I think we'll go with a 2-1 Blues. That's what I'm going to go for. But I'm not 100% confident on that. That's for sure.
No, I hope you're wrong.
Just sneaking in every single time. I hope you're wrong. I hope you lose.
Brilliant. Thank you for doing this, Tommy. If anybody wants to find Blue Focus, where is it? Just at Blue Focus on Twitter. If anybody wants to find out.
Yeah, it should be the one. Just have it there. It should just be that one there. The little mark there. That should find us on Twitter.
Nice to know it's not just me that makes that mistake every time.
Well, thank you for doing this, Tommy. Good luck for the season. Obviously not for Saturday, but good luck for the rest of the season, mate.
You too, guys. You too.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers,
guys.
Thank you very much, Tommy, for doing that. Interesting stuff, as always. Thank you very much. So we have what we first of all need to talk about and mention. Lewis Price, unfortunately, has been diagnosed with testicular cancer. They will be doing a minute's applause on the 12th minute on Saturday, which because his squad number for us was 12. Clearly a very popular guy, but he lives to Paul Warren and other people talk about Lewis Price. He's clearly a very popular guy, clearly a very nice guy, so that's awful to hear. And obviously, we support him and send our best wishes to him, and hopefully he recovers very, very quickly. And yeah, Mick, Danny, anything to add on that one?
No, 100% support for the lad. I'm sure he'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah,
ultimately. Yeah, absolutely, 100% our best wishes.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I went through a testicular cancer scare a few years ago myself. So for him to actually be diagnosed with it and undergo the treatment, I mean, you just have to get behind him 100% and wish him all the best and hope the treatment's successful. So yeah, if you're at the grounds on Saturday, 12th minute, on your feet, round of applause.
Yeah, I've seen some Birmingham fans share it as well. So hopefully the entire stadium doing it as it will be. Football comes together. When football comes together, it's brilliant, and this is one of those moments where we show our support for all the members of the football family. Let's move on to the referee. I think we'll move on to such a negative topic.
Oh, here we go.
Let's get it out of the way.
Right.
Just let me get a can before we carry on. Hang on.
I'm sure you've all heard, and if you haven't heard, sit down. Gavin Ward is going to be the referee on Saturday. He last referee us in October, November time, the away victory at Ipswich, which went by without incident. I think that's important to point out. That's as much positivity as I can possibly muster up. My defence of him would be that he is just bad. He isn't. That isn't really much of a defence, I suppose. But he isn't. You get some refs and you think, God, he was rubbish for us. He give everything against us. I think he's just bad, isn't it? There was that incident last season where Huddersfield against somebody where he didn't give a red card for one reason or another. I think he's just a terrible referee. Mick, I will hand the floor over to defend, not defend, whatever you'd like to do.
I've made a few notes, so
right.
I'll start at the...
A few notes, it's the old booklet, isn't it?
Listen, I've got very little to say about Gavin Ward. I haven't already said. I'm absolutely disgusted in the way that he refereed our last two championship games of ours that he refereed, and the fact that he continues to referee in the championship after allowing those two assaults on Victor is absolutely beyond me. But we've got to get on with it, and he'll be the same for Birmingham as he is for us. I don't have an issue with him being biased against one side or the other. I have an issue with his competence, and I'm not over it. I'm not over that Barnsley game particularly because, in my view, that contributed significantly to our relegation that season. So let's just get it out of the way, and hopefully on Sunday night we're not banging the drum about Gavin Ward again. But I've got a sneaky feeling we might be.
Yeah, we are due a stinker of a performance from a referee. So far this season, the referees have been okay. We're due a stinker, aren't we?
He's your man.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He's your man, isn't he? You know what I mean?
I mean, I personally think he's scared of Victor because have you noticed that the one game where Victor has had a word with him, we've won? Insane. so Victor, get in his ear at the start of the game and go, "Here, no funny business for you again," and we'll win. Simple.
Yeah. There's not much more. Just keep your eye out. What I will say is, I'm not promoting anybody to boo him or anything, but this is the first game he's been to New York Stadium since then. I think there was possibly a reason he didn't referee any of our games last season. I think that was pretty clever, not having ref a home game last season. Yeah, I remember Trevor Kettle getting some treatment, didn't he? 10 years after the Barnsley game,
He got booed in his warm up. Trevor Kettle.
He did. Yeah.
Mainly by me. So I foresee a similar situation arising on Saturday. So if you're in the stadium early enough and you hear a lone boo, you'll know where it's coming from.
No, I'm gonna have to try and get it ground early just to hear that. I'll be there just on the vlog going, "Have we ever arrived at the York Stadium?" Just hear a ooh.
Mick's going to get it 1:30 just to make sure he can boo him.
Yeah, I'm going to get there early. Don't you worry.
Every time he does a lap past us, he's going boo, boo every time. Yeah, sorry everybody for it. If you didn't know that, I'm sure it upset you. Paramount UK says Victor better be wearing a coat. I mean, I expect Victor to come out in full cricket gear, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think he needs to come out in one of Ben's football helmets.
Yeah. Although John Morrell, with some balance, says, to be fair, he did the Watford Birmingham game and he was excellent. So, may have improved. I don't think that's likely.
I just like you, mate, but I'm beginning to have second thoughts now. Need these.
We are looking to go unbeaten in our first 3 home league games for the first time since 2013-14. I was surprised it was so long, to be honest with you, but yeah, that would match that season going to there. Let's talk about predictions and lineup, Mick. To be honest with you, I think prediction is pretty easy. To be honest, we go. The question is Peltier and Hall for me. Everything else picks itself, I think. Peltier maybe who wing back. What do you think? What do you think? Am I right in that?
I think for me, after Grant Hall's performance against QPR, which, like I said in the podcast after the game, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't up to the standard that he's been at, and it certainly wasn't up to the standard of Lee Peltier in the games that he's played in. So I might be swapping those two out. Other than that, I think you're absolutely right. Assuming that Dan Barlas's hamstring issue isn't too much of an issue, and the club said that it's manageable, I can't see any reason whatsoever to change it. Particularly after Tuesday night, nobody stuck their head above the parapet, really.
Yeah.
And sort of stake to claim. I can't see Norton Cuffy starting. I can't see Bramall starting, to be honest with you, although he may do. That would be the only change I personally would consider.
The only thing with Peltier is he played 90 at midweek, didn't he? And he played nearly a 90 Saturday, and I think 90 the Tuesday before. I suspect he's going to have to be managed. Woody and Hall didn't play. I don't think neither were in squad, Danny. So I think you're probably going to see Humphreys, Woody, and Hall will be my guess. But as back three.
Yeah, I think so, and I think maybe Wes at wing back again, purely because Norton Cuffy hasn't bedded himself in for the right wing back. So he'll be back up wing back, and if we need to push Wes a little bit deeper, then we can bring Norton Cuffy on and then keep Chia up top and not need to drop him back in, which is good. Yeah, but other than that, I mean, squad basically picks itself now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Ferguson on the left, Harden on the right. Like you say, Barlas might be rested to begin with because we do have the Sunderland game on Wednesday. So there's not a lot of turnaround time there. But it could either Barlas starts and comes off early or he comes on later. We'll have to wait and see with that one.
John Morell says Birmingham fan says we may need some pace at right wing back as their left wing back Plaqueta is lightning quick for them. So that could be a sign for Norton Cuffy to start.
Yeah, possibly.
Counteract.
But you look at Wes, how he's developed his pace over recent weeks. There's been a couple of occasions where he's done the old show bit, knocked the ball around one side of the player and beaten the pace around the other. So he's certainly. I mean, he's not lightning quick, but the thing with Wes is as well, he doesn't tend to push on quite as much as the other wing backs. So we'll see. But you're right. Obviously, the new lad is lightning quick as well. So I just think it might be a little bit too soon in terms of his confidence. Perhaps I might be being a bit unfair there because I mean the lad's pushing for a first team place at Arsenal, so he's not going to be lacking in confidence, is he?
No, possibly not. We should touch on that. He signed after we recorded last episode, annoyingly. But it's a bit of a coup, Danny. You look at there were several reports. If reports are to believe, there were 7 or 8 teams in the Championship that registered interest for him. Arsenal, the player, and his agent, potentially the most important, decided that Rotherham was the best place for him to come and play. He's 18-year-old. We talked in the last show about he's a European champion at the under-19s level. It may turn out to be a flop, but to get somebody in of this reputation speaks volumes of the club that we are at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you just need to look at, excuse me, how the Arsenal fans have sung his praises on Twitter, and they're a fan base that when they're upset, they're upset. And they've been singing his praises about they thought he'd be in the first team contention this season, which, you know, to say we've got him and we've beaten several other teams to him is very, very impressive. I think it goes to show we have now got a very good working relationship with Arsenal, which is good if you've got a good working relationship with a Premier League team, because you sort of get the really talented youngsters off them for cheap money, which is good. And yeah, I think Norton Cuffy is one of them. He had a very good season with Lincoln, scored his first professional goal against Wednesday, so he's already a fan favourite of mine. And he looks a very, very tricky customer. If there's a video on YouTube that shows his highlights from last season, both at Lincoln and in the Arsenal under-23s, and he's quick. Yeah, he's quick, yeah. And he can beat a man. I'm very looking forward to seeing how he gets on. And like John Morell says, if we line him up against their pacey winger that's playing as a wing back, then it could be a very, very interesting battle. It could just be who's the more lucky on the night, potentially.
Yeah. Here's if Calbrick says, feel like Cuffy didn't get the ball quick enough at times this month. He was always looking for it, when he was always looking for that sort of pass in between the fullback and defender. He was running into areas that are very difficult to defend.
He played very, very advanced, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And both him and Bramall, they were extremely high up the pitch, certainly in that first half, which I felt probably caused some of the problems in terms of our ability to retain the ball, because he cut down the options. But, you know, it was his first day, essentially, weren't it? You know what I mean? First day in a new job kind of thing. So
true. That is very true. Let's go through some predictions. We've got a couple of little bits to talk about. Let's go through some score predictions for this one. Mick,
this is a toughie for me, this one. I felt reasonably comfortable that we would beat Reading. Birmingham for me are a bit of an unknown quantity because in my head, and I know that clearly this is not right. They've not been this for years and years, but they're a massive Premier League club, There is no way in my mind that I can get my head around the fact that we are on terms with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It doesn't make any sense to me. It's difficult. So predicting us to beat them is I find quite difficult. But I think we will. I think we will manage it. I'm hoping that because they've got the new manager in, things aren't going particularly well off the pitch. I'm just hoping that we'll be able to sneak a win. So I'm going to go 2-1 Millers. In fact, no, I'm not. I'm going to go 2-0. So it's not a sneaky. I can't, at the moment, I cannot see Victor conceding. I've put mockers on that now, haven't I?
Yeah, you have. Here comes a 3-2 loss.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 1-0 for the same reason. I don't see us conceding many. From what we've said from Tommy, they're not amazing going forward. Obviously, they have threats, but not. I think potentially QPR are better than them going forward because of the Willocks they've got and Chair and whatnot. I think that makes more sense that they threaten us. It does worry me if they're going to sit in and defend. That does concern me because that doesn't suit us. We need the teams to come at us a little bit. So that wouldn't suit us. But I'll go sneaky. I will go sneaky 1-0. Danny?
It's interesting that Tommy said they were sort of playing two different styles. It's sort of like if he had better players, he'd play possession based, but because he hasn't, they're on counter attack. And we saw how dangerous QPR were on the counter attack and how at times we looked at 6s and 7s when when they properly caught us on the counter. But if we learn from QPR and mitigate that, then we could see a lot of joy. However, I don't know. I just can't see us winning. I'm going to have to go 1-1.
Oh, negative Nelly down there.
Right. Listen, I made a pact with myself at the start of the season that whenever Rotherham lost, I would shave my beard and change my shirt because it's the cup. I've only trimmed it.
Yeah.
So I've sort of been involved in it, but the shirt stays for now.
We have in the comments Sean Green says 2-0, so does Harry Cowick. Powerman says 3-0 to the Millers. Kim Hewitt says 1-0, same as Carl Briggs. S64 Miller says 2-1 to the Millers. That's from her and Dad. Jamie's gone. I like Jamie's style, to be honest with you. Jamie's gone 4-0 to Rotherham. I like that. Steve Grundy has gone 1-0. Paul Brock says 2. John Morell, the Birmingham fan, says 2-1 to the Blues. He thinks they're not as bad up top as Tommy says. If they get service, they look decent. Hogan, who is on his day a very good player, Scott Hogan, he's looks sharp this season. I hope you're wrong. Paramount UK says, "Boo, Danny, what's wrong with you?"
Just can't see us winning, unfortunately.
We'll probably come back onto this Birmingham in a minute. We need to quickly mention ticket prices and the sort of fiasco that's going off at the minute. To be fair, it's just an EFL. Away tickets are just an EFL, and home tickets are massive from the Premier League. But EFL away tickets are becoming a bit of a joke, to be honest with you. We've just paid 36 quid for the QPR game, which everybody else, all these other clubs are now realising it's 36 quid at QPR because they're playing them as well. Middlesbrough's 31 quid for a Saturday night game live on telly. Work that one out if you can. And Sheffield United have just announced their ticket. Again, these are all adult prices. And Sheffield United have announced theirs at £33. I don't know what to say, to be honest with you, Mick. We knew it was going to happen. We'll probably get, if any fans of any other clubs will watch this, they'll probably go, you're a Championship. It's not League One. It shouldn't matter. There should be a limit on the prices. For me, 25 quid is plenty. People say 20 is plenty. 25 quid is plenty enough. There's no justification to charge £30 plus for any away stadium in the Championship. There's just none.
There isn't. I mean, Sheffield United as a club will probably argue that it's a Category A match, so therefore the price needs to go up because they've got to pay more for policing of it. But Middlesbrough have got zero excuse. QPR have got zero excuse. And Sheffield United's excuse is pretty flimsy, to be honest, as far as I'm concerned. They've got a 30,000 seater stadium, which will probably be full. so that it's not as though the scratching to fill it. You know what I mean? It's profiteering is essentially what it is, because they're working on the basis that it's a local derby, so everybody will want to come. So we can charge them what they want. Well, you can stuff it as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? Absolutely stuff it. It's outrageous. And likewise with Middlesbrough, it's just a joke. But you know, these clubs seem to just hide behind the fact that, well, it's football.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it is. It is football, but it doesn't mean that you can charge whatever you want. It's garbage, man. Honestly, I'm really, really, really disappointed in, particularly in Sheffield United.
Yeah, Power UK says we should up ours to 40 quid.
But then the issue with that, and I get that, and I've thought that. I mean, we should only do that for Wednesday. For anybody else, what you're doing then is you're punishing the supporters of that club. Again, the people who can least afford it, and I don't think that's fair. It's not the fans. It's not Sheffield United fans or Middlesbrough fans or QPR fans for that matter. They're just as disgusted as everybody else is at the price of their own away tickets. You know what I mean? So it's the clubs, and the only people that can deal with that, unfortunately, are the toothless EFL. So they are always going to bow down to the bigger clubs. That's how it feels. That's how it feels. That might be just my Northern United inferiority complex coming through.
Yeah, the irony is it's cheaper to watch an away game in the Premier League than it is in the Championship. There is a limit. There's £30 limit on away tickets in the Premier League. So Sheffield United are now charging more in a lower league than they were in a high league, and it's just football needs to wake up. We're in a cost of living crisis, a once-in-a-generation cost of living crisis, as we all know, as we all too rightly know. And football just seems to think, that'd be right, they'll still pay it. Don't worry about it. And it's just, it feels like we've come to almost a tipping point, to be honest with you. I might be wrong, because we're here this year. And it's been 3 years since we're in Championship, really, ticket price point of view. But it just feels ridiculous.
No, it is ridiculous. I mean, if you were to pay your dole for Sunderland, Sheffield United and Middlesbrough, it's going to cost you 100 quid. 100 quid in the space of a month. It's like, bloody hell.
That's assuming you go on your own, Danny.
Yeah, that's assuming you go on your own, then plus any extras that come with you. You know, if it's your kids or your partner who's classed as an adult as well, through the ticket aging system. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Like you said, Matt, there's a £30 cap in the Premier League. So logic dictates that should apply across the board. And if anything dropped down, the more leagues should go down. So it should be 30 in Premier League, 25 in Championship, 20 in League One, and then League Two can do what it likes. But it's just ridiculous. And I've just done a bit of quick working out on my phone. If we sell 1,600 tickets for Sheffield United, which at £33 you can see happening because we won't sell that out. Now they brought it in with the point system, but with at £33, that we're not going to sell 2,700 of them tickets. Not at all. I'm surprised if we'll sell 2,000, to be fair. But nice round number, 1,600 at Sheffield United will make about 52,800 for Sheffield United, right? But if we were to sell out with the tickets at £25, it makes them 68,000. So they may have done it for finesse reasons, you know, like so not many of us go, so we don't make not a lot of noise, that sort of thing. But it's just ridiculous. You know, it will have 4 away games in a row of astronomical adult prices. You know, QPR, what was it, 36?
Yeah,
I think Sunderland, it's a bit better at 26. You know, that's okay. That's roughly our prices. And then Middlesbrough 31, Sheffield United 33. Anything over 30 quid shouldn't happen. And I can't remember, John Morell with the comment saying, charge them the same when they come to your place. Absolutely. We should go, right, you're charging us that much, we'll charge you that much as well. You know, we'll take the system that Reading tried to implement, but do it backwards. So it's like, oh, you want to charge our fans astronomical prices? Right, we'll charge your fans astronomical prices as well and make you look silly. And yeah, it just annoyed me how much the Championship is. I mean, yeah, we're competing at a higher level against better teams and want to establish ourselves at this level. But purely for my wallet's sake, I want to be in League One because it's cheaper.
Yeah, I don't know what. It's not going to change. The problem is it's not going to change. We can sit here scream till blue in face. They're not going to listen to fans. They're just not.
Well, they're not. The only thing to do is what we did at Swillsborough those few years ago when they were charging us 40 quid. I think we took about 700, didn't we?
Something like that, yeah. They didn't many at all.
And 700 at 40 quid a shot. If they'd have been 20 quid a shot, there'd have been 3,000 there. It's not difficult, is it? It's not. The maths is not difficult, and I think it's. I can't remember who's mentioned it in the comments. If people are going to pay it, they'll continue to do it. The only way to stop it happening is to not pay it, because they're still going to find that money from somewhere.
Yeah, they won't. It'll still not change. We could send it, and they'll not change. The problem you've got is that the people who are in charge of deciding a cap is the clubs themselves. So the clubs are not going to vote for a cap because they're losing. They're going to see that they're limiting their own cash.
But they're not, are they? And that's the problem, and that's the short-sightedness of this.
That's what they see it, though, isn't it? That's their argument.
But surely these clubs can't be so short-sighted.
Well, but it must be. It's either that, or they're just charging people money to stop them going to football games.
No, they're just profiteering because they think because people will go, people will continue to pay it, and that's my point. Until people say no, I'm not paying that, and people don't go, that's when the wheel will come off for this the policy that they've got. But while ever people blindly pay 30, 40 quid to get into a football game, if people are going to pay it, they're going to keep charging it.
Yeah.
That's the only way around it that I can see.
Is this you starting a protest?
No, I'm not. No, because I'm not that stupid.
Mick's going to be at Sheffield United away end with a pillowcase with some felt tip on it, saying £33 is diabolical. In fact, that's an idea.
Yeah, and SW points out, and the Wednesday game that a lot of people didn't go to was followed by a trip to Newcastle, who charged us 25 quid, and we took loads. We took a few thousand to Newcastle, which is further away and cheaper. Yeah, Listen, we could go on. We could go on and on and on and on. And this won't be the last time we talk about this. It just won't be. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Can I just jump in with something before we sign off for tonight? If anyone does decide to go to Sheffield United with those astronomical prices, I would recommend trying to finesse a student ticket because they don't check your IDs and it's only £21. Anyway, yes.
Make you a student. I'm a student.
I'm a student of life.
Still counts. But yeah, anyone who does decide to go, we've still got spaces on the second Kimmy Park bus that's going to Sheffield United. Price at £9, and it's just a bit more secure than going on the bus or on the tram because you're just straight to the ground, straight inside, no faffing about. It's probably a lot safer than encountering the hooligans on the buses in the city centre. So yeah, just jump on the Facebook page and try and book with us. I would advertise the Sunderland and Middlesbrough bus, but they are sold out. Nice. So yeah, thank you to everybody who's booked on with those.
Absolutely. We did get a question from Lewis from Twitter. We will talk about your topic later, Lewis. We haven't got time today, so thank you for it. We will talk about that. John Morell says, how much are we guys charging for the weekend? Probably a decent price. 2,000, but they're bringing 2.5. I think it's 25 quid, 24 quid.
25, 26, isn't it?
Yeah. It's going to be a good atmosphere. We've loads of people mentioned us on Twitter. Birmingham bring a lot. They make a lot of noise. They always win, which is really annoying. So it's like us when we go to Bradford. We always sit lows to Bradford because we always win.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's going to be a good atmosphere. Hopefully we send 2,500 Birmingham fans away very unhappy. But we just don't know.
Who knows?
We'll see.
Yeah. Power UK, you're a student of the referees. There you go, mate.
There we go.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Howard Webb has been confirmed as the head of the refereeing association, or will be taking over the head of the refereeing association. So, well done to Howard. That is a top. Go on.
He's going to punch me in the next. Because I know he listens to this. He's going to punch me next time I see him. I know he is.
That is the top job. He has done a great job in America. The standard of everything in America has improved, and standard refereeing is part of that as well. He's got a big job in his hands. He's got a very big job in his hands outside of the Premier League. So hopefully he can. The bar's very low, I suppose, to improve upon. Sorry. Thank you all who have paid attention and still paying attention now in 10 minutes into an episode. We do appreciate it. Please do subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. The instant reaction will be out straight after the game. Danny's vlog will be out Sunday morning-ish. We will be back on YouTube live on Sunday evening. If you are audio listening on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you are podcasting, make sure you subscribe. The next episode will be out Monday morning. And then we will go from there. Obviously, the game is on Wednesday next week, and Sunderland's on Wednesday the following week.
Oh, it's my birthday bus. Oh, I've bought a cake from Chantreview for it.
It's going to get messy on the Sunderland bus with that.
Yes, it is.
Brilliant. Been a pleasure, guys. We will be back, like the things I've just told you. Mick, it's been a pleasure. I think you need some calming tea before Saturday, before Gavin Ward performs. I'll buy some calming tea.
I'm going to another pint in somewhere before, I think, just to calm my nerves.
Not from the game, just from the referee.
Yeah,
absolutely. Danny, it's been a pleasure, and I'll see you on Saturday.
See you on Saturday. I'm going to try and sneak my stress ball in.
You'll need it. See you later, guys.
Cheers.
Bye.
Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant. Mule with it. Wood's got round the back, and Richie Wood has done it again. The magic man has come up with another trick. Well, here's a chance to seal it. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly.